Hi everyone, it's K of K's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make a nautical wreath, and we're going to use the Anchor Wreath frame from Dollar Tree. And the other supplies you're going to be needing are 2 rolls of the mesh from Dollar Tree, colors of your choice. Those are 5-yard rolls and they are 6 inches wide. And then you're going to need some type of nautical cord like the one I'm using here. To wrap the very top of the wreath frame. Remember that whatever you choose, it can't be too thick because that inner circle you're going through it's kind of small, so that would fill up a lot quicker than the outer circle. So choose something that's a little thin. It takes more time, but that's how you get it wrapped. The other things you're going to need are some ribbon to make a bow, and you can choose, the ribbon that you want to make your bow. I used 1.5 inch ribbon, so the bow wouldn't seem super huge and overwhelm the anchor. And then you're going to need zip tie and pipe cleaners, again, to connect your bow, to make your bow. And you may need a few pipe cleaners to connect your mesh to the frame. Just depends on how you want to do it. Now on this frame, you'll see I've got some light blue pipe cleaners connected. I thought I would need them. In the end, I did not use them, so you can ignore that. Okay. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is wrap this cording around the top, and I'm just going round and round and round. Every now and then I add a little bit of glue. I like for things to be secured and tight. So I didn't have a huge length of string. I cut 6 feet and I wrapped that around, and then when that ran out, I tied on a new piece and wrapped that around, and then that ran out and I tied on a third piece, just to the end of the previous cord, and I continued wrapping till I got to the end. I made a little knot and then tucked a little bit of the excess string up under the cord, because this is going around a circle that's not flat. There's a little gap of space underneath, so I was able to just tuck the cord in. So the next thing I decided to do was to fold my mesh into thirds. So I tucked one piece under and then put the other piece on top of that, and put a tiny bit of glue, maybe like every foot or 18 inches, and it was just to hold it in place. And I did this because I wanted some layers. Now I got it's 3 layers thick, and then also I wanted to kind of hold that fold for me, so I'm not fighting with it as I'm putting it on my wreath frame. So I did that for the entire length of this mesh. For yourself, if you choose to do this method, you don't have to do this. You'll see later when I run out and I use another piece of mesh, I don't do this step, but it just made it easier to not have to keep going back and folding things as I went along. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna start putting it on the wreath frame. Please don't forget, as I've said in earlier videos, I am working with a glue gun set at low temperature. So I am able to put my hands on the areas where this glue is. If you're using a high temp glue gun, please do not do this without finger protectors. You do not want to burn yourself. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is take this mesh, and with the raw edge that I folded against the wreath frame, I want to take a pipe cleaner and connect it to my wreath frame. And I'm using a pipe cleaner here just because it's so easy and convenient. You can use a zip tie or whatever other type of fastening method you want to use to attach it to your wreath frame. I'm going to get that secure. And then what I want to do is to start wrapping this around the wreath frame. And I'm making sure each time as I'm going around and around that the open raw edge on the back where I did the initial gluing is against the frame, so that all you see on the top is a nice smooth part of the mesh. Now I have no rhyme or reason as to how I put this on the wreath frame. I just kept wrapping it and wrapping it in a way that I thought the mesh would easily go around. And you can see here I missed the crossbar, but I'll go back and get that later. Actually with another roll of mesh, I had to start a second one. So that's it. Just wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap until you get the rest of this frame completely covered with this mesh. Again, those little blue pipe cleaners, the light blue ones, I thought I would need them. I did not end up using them, so you can ignore those. Now, if you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. So that would help my channel immensely. It really helps us to grow. And if you're not already a family member, consider hitting the button and ringing the bell so you can be notified. The subscribe button and ringing the bell so you can be notified when new videos are released. Alright, I'm going to let you see me keep wrapping this for a minute, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So the next thing I want to do is add some decor to my wreath. And so I have this greenery pieces left from last year's wreath that I made. And I'm going to just glue it at a few different spots. I don't want to glue it down solidly because I want this to look like it's free form, like it's, floating off of the anchor instead of cemented to it. So at a few different points, I'm going to add some glue and get it attached. Next thing I want to do is add a few of the Dollar Tree seashells, and I'm just gluing them on at different spots. And I'm kind of thinking where I want them to be so that once I put my bow on, they will still be visible. So I just picked a few spots. I didn't put too many. So here you see I've selected the ribbon I want to use in the bow, and the anchor ribbon, I'm showing you how the others coordinated with it. That navy blue is the background of that black that's in the anchor. Of course, you can see the cream in there. That teal, one teal kind of matches the, well, I'll go through it as I do the bow. Alright, so this navy blue I'm going to use in the background. There were parts of the anchor that were actually black in the ribbon, but I did not want to put black in my bow, so I decided to use the darkest blue ribbon I had in my stash. So what I'm doing is cutting it at 10 inches, and I chose that because when I looked at the anchor, I wanted the anchor, the arms of the anchor, I guess you would call it. I wanted the bow to go to about 4 inches on each side. Again, trying to keep the bow small so it wouldn't overwhelm the anchor. So because I'm cutting this into two 10-inch strips, it's going to extend out 5 inches on each side because I want it to be seen behind the bow. And I just wanted a touch of this dark color. I didn't want too much, so I didn't actually make bow loops. And I didn't want the bow to get too big again because it's, a small space I'm working in. So I just wanted the touch of this color, but I did not want it to be too dark. And the same thing with this blue. This is on the trim of the anchor ribbon, this color. You'll see that later. So I'm going to just make two 10-inch strips of this and add that into the background of my bow also. Next, I have this neutral ribbon, which is blended into that anchor ribbon. I decided to do a 12-inch tail. In the end, it ended up being a little bit long, so I just cut it a little shorter later. You can always cut it shorter. You can't always make it longer. So I did a 12-inch tail. I am doing 4-inch loops. And then I was thinking about doing another loop and changed my mind. So I just ended off with another 12-inch tail. So next I have this teal, which is the background color in the ribbon, and it almost matched it perfectly. So I'm going to do the same thing, a 12-inch tail and 2 loops at 4 inches because they can stay the same width each loop at this point because I can spread them out and they can each be seen. When you get a full amount of loops at the same size, then you might need to make the next ones a little shorter so that you can see the ones that are on top. And again, I ended off with a 12-inch tail. The next ribbon I have is this striped teal. It has different shades of teal, so I thought it would be perfect for this bow. Again, I'm doing 4-inch loops. You put your tail in add your loop to the side, find your 4-inch, then twist in the center so that now you have the back of the ribbon facing up. So when you loop it over, the top of your ribbon is on top again. Measured it out to 4 inches, and then I'm going to bring that other end down and cut myself another 12-inch tail. And my last ribbon, which I'm putting on top, is what I call my feature ribbon. That's the one I make everything else blend with. So again, I chose a 12-inch tail, and I'm still going to just do 2 loops. I thought about doing a lot more because this is the ribbon I really want to be seen. And then I said, no, let's just blend it in. Let's keep it the same. This one I did at 3.5-inch loops because I want it to be on top. I want to make sure everything in the background can be seen. So I'm going to just do 2 loops with that and then cut another 12-inch tail. As usual, you probably already noticed I forgot my pipe cleaner and zip tie. I don't know why I keep doing that. But at any rate, you won't see me do this, but I will be sliding a pipe cleaner across the length of my board there. Oh, you do see it. I forgot I left it in there. So that's going to go straight across that pipe cleaner, and it's going in between those 2 dowels where the ribbon is being cinched at the center. And I got to make sure I get it right between them so it'll be behind all of that ribbon. And then the zip tie went up underneath, and it's on top of the pipe cleaner, between the pipe cleaner and the first ribbon. So I've got them in there, and you see I'm pulling my zip tie up here. I'm going to pull it slightly, make it snug but not super tight. And when I take my bow off, I was holding it at first, and then I remembered it stays in place better if you can kind of put your fingers over that column in the center of the where all that ribbon is stacked. So I've learned to kind of put my fingers down each side. So I'm slightly tightening the zip tie, and then the next thing I'm going to do is kind of shape my bow, making sure that all of the tails are coming down to the center, not extended out to the sides, and then move my loops around till I get the bow shaped exactly like I want it. So you can see as I was flipping it, one side everything's kind of gathered together, and now I'm giving it a nice spread so that everything can be seen. After doing that, I am now tightening my zip tie as much as possible with my hands, and then I'm going to later get that zip tie gun and tighten it totally. Love using that thing. It gets everything so nice and tight, and you'll see as I tighten it, the bow just seems to pop more and more. The tighter you make that center, the more the bow's loops will pop out. So with my bow completed, I am now going to attach it underneath the little circle top of the anchor above the crossbar, and I'm using my pipe cleaner that I put under the slid up under all that ribbon for the bow. I am twisting it onto the back. Sorry I forgot to flip it around. I'll show a picture of it in the end, because once I twisted it on, then I took the remaining length of the pipe cleaner, twisted it together to make a little loop to be used to hang the wreath. You can either hang it by that little loop or by the hook at the top where you've wrapped that neutral cord. Okay, so now I'm going to clip the ends of my ribbon, and I kind of layered it, making that feature ribbon on top shorter than the rest. I tried to make sure that each length went down a little bit further, and in the end, once I held it up, it was still a little long for me, and so I went back and trimmed it a little bit more. So here's my nautical anchor wreath. I hope you like it. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.